Hi everyone. I believe there is no more important tool at your fingertips at SNU as an instructor than your outreach log. Today I want to share a bit about how I outreach and the results it can have. It may take some practice, but I have found that outreaching and documenting it can quickly go from feeling like additional work instead to feeling like a lifeline to your students in no time at all. There are many different ways you can outreach your students. SNU email is the easiest and most common form of communication, and this is my go-to communication. But what if it doesn't work? Some students do not check in with SNU email, and this is especially true at first. In this case, you can locate the student's personal email. I find that this tends to be successful. But you can go beyond that to provide phone calls. You can use your own phone, but another option if you don't want to give out your personal information is to create a Google Voice account. It's free. You create your own personalized number. Mine is actually 304-504-SNU, and this allows students to contact you without giving out your personal information. It also allows for messages to be sent to your email account. Another option is text messaging. I don't use traditional text messaging, but it is certainly an option. One time I tried it and I ended up overwhelmed with texts that I was getting by numbers I could not keep up with who they belonged to. Instead, I use Remind. Remind is a free service that you and your students can sign up for. It is a way that you can text message your students and they can text you back. No phone numbers are exchanged, a log of communication is kept for you, and each communication that you receive has the student's name. It is easy to use and has two key features. Here you can see a glimpse of my Remind program on my computer. You can also access this as an app on your iPhone or other programs. The first thing you can do is send group announcements or text. Anything you type in here, it does have to be short, 140 characters, can be sent to the entire class. You can send these immediately, or even better, you can schedule them. I schedule 2 alerts every module for the entire class before the class begins. You can pick the day and time and enter the content. I send a text reminder on Thursday mornings, reminding of the discussion board, and also on Sunday mornings, reminding of all the work that is due. In addition, you can chat. This is also a texting program, but this is not to a group. This is personalized. You pick a student and reach out to them, and the student can respond to you. It is a very nice way for many students to quickly communicate with you. They get the message on their phone and they can quickly respond back. The next thing you need to look at is when to outreach. I like to start before the term even begins. You have access to your students a little over a week before the class begins. And during this time, I like to reach out to them often. I start with my preterm welcome email. In this email, I share with everybody what's expected in the class, what's to come, how to reach me, and how excited I am. From there, and I also include in that email some information on how to join Remind. The next thing I do is I praise any students that I see log in before the course begins. This is a great sign, and they should be encouraged. And the last thing I do is I pay close attention to any students who are not logged into the course. And I try my alternate forms of communication to see if I can get them to log in. My goal is always to have every student logged in by the time the course starts. Of course, this doesn't always happen, but I have certainly gotten close. The next aspect you need to look at is your weekly communication and outreach. I suggest being proactive. I am always paying attention of students who are missing assignments. I reach out immediately. If a discussion board post isn't done but on Thursday, I reach out before the end of the deadline to give them a reminder and give them a chance to get it done on time. I also keep my eyes out for poor quiz scores and remind them that they can go ahead and make those up and share how they can do so. Lastly, I pay close attention to any student who is not logged in during the current module by Wednesday. This is always a red flag, and it tells me I need to get a hold of them to pull them back into the course before we get too far behind. And I also praise my students. I don't do this as often, as I outreach my struggling students, but I make sure at least every 3 modules that I send my students who are doing well some form of communication, sharing that I recognize how well they're doing.